this is Chef Deborah and Rachel. We're back to do our cinnamon rolls and sticky buns out of the same brioche dough that we made earlier. So Rachel's going to go ahead and roll this into a rectangle. That's nice dough. Okay.
My flour in the top.
Flour in the top. And what I like to do and what is helpful when before you start rolling is to actually kind of shape it into a rectangle like this, so it has 4 corners, and that way it helps you to keep the shape a little bit. Okay.
Do I have to pat it down like
Nope.
that? Like
No, that's a laminated dough. This is just a very soft brioche dough. There we go. And go ahead and roll it from side to side this way. Okay, and you can stop there and let me show you how to keep it into a rectangle. So we just go ahead and stretch it like this. It's going to need a little bit more flour underneath.
Can you overflour this?
Not. I mean, you would have to dump a bunch of flour on it, yeah. But just that little bit isn't gonna hurt. So you can just keep it, into a rectangle as much as you can, and go ahead and keep rolling. Then we're looking for about 22 inches by maybe 12 on this rectangle. That looks about right. Go ahead and just lift it and stretch it out. There we go. And that way when you roll it up into the jelly roll style, which makes our rolls, everything will be even and you won't have these big gaps without any dough around it. I think that's good. We don't want it any thinner than that. So we'll just lift it up and let it spring back a little bit. Good. When you roll the dough too, it helps to start like this at the center and roll towards you, and then center and roll away from you, so that the edges aren't thinner than the center.
Okay.
Yeah. So the dough is even, and you can run your hand across it and you can feel where there might be an uneven spot. But for these, it's not particular really to speak of. It's good. So what we're going to do, we have about 1 stick or half a cup of butter. If you like to have more butter in it, that's fine. And we're just going to make a butter bath. And what I like to do is just take the sugar and just make a little dam around the edges like this, so the butter doesn't roll out. Let me move that so you can see. And then we're going to go ahead and spread the butter out to the edges.
Dam has a leak.
A dam has a leak. There we go. Cover it up here. Okay. Okay, honey, you can go ahead and just sprinkle that sugar all over. Now, you almost can't have too much brown sugar cinnamon mixture, so we've got probably a cup and a half of brown sugar, and I have maybe 1/3 of a cup of cinnamon. It does take a lot of cinnamon for these rolls, so plan on using a lot of cinnamon, unless you don't like cinnamon. If you don't want any cinnamon flavor in this, you don't have to. Just put some brown sugar on top of it. If you want to put a little dash of nutmeg in there, again, it's your preference. You can roll this up, put some raisins in it. You can put some chocolate chips in these. Pretty much your call, since they're your rolls. So, yeah, thank you, honey. The first part of the roll is the most important because that sets the tightness for the whole batch. So we want to be sure, as you saw me do, that I'm twisting and pushing downwards like this to make sure I get a tight roll in the center of the roll. And then we're just going to gently keep rolling up, going forward. And that little doesn't want to stay there. And you might have to tuck the ends in a little bit as we go forward. As you can see, this is going to create a lot of gooey goodness in our rolls. And I'm going to stretch this out a little bit to meet the end. And then we're going to take and overlap the ends like this. And we're just going to pinch to seal. I'm going to clean this off here. Give me a clean workspace for the dough. And then I roll it seam side down. And then you can actually kind of reshape it. The center is always going to be a little bit thicker, so you can reshape it into a nice log. And then you need to grab a nice sharp serrated knife. Let's try to say that really fast. So for me, when I'm cutting, I look like 1 thumb length. That's probably 2 inches. So, and I can cut, and then I'm already measuring the next roll. So it's just a way of keeping the rolls all the same width and the same size. Now, if you have really like bear paws like my husband has, that wouldn't be a good measurement because you would have a roll this big. So,
Nothing wrong with that.
well, I guess not. So anyway, so that's, I mean, it goes together really easy once the dough is made. I mean, we're going into this very quickly. So to make our sticky, this is one version of my sticky bun. It's kind of like a caramelized honey bun, but this is not a brown sugar caramel base. This is something that I created in our kitchen, and our customers absolutely love it. So it's not a sticky caramel. This is about 4 cups of powdered sugar, and we use heavy whipping cream, not half and half, not milk. It has to be heavy whipping cream or it won't caramelize. And so we add about a teaspoon of vanilla, and we want to get it to this consistency, almost like a paste. And then we're going to go ahead and put this in the bottom of your pan. And you want a good bit amount because you want the buns to sit down inside this. And when this cooks, the sugar actually caramelizes with the heavy whipping cream because the whipping cream has a lot of natural milk or dairy sweetness in it. So we're going to just go ahead and spread it out this way. And if you like pecans on your little sticky buns, we're going to go ahead and do pecans on this one. You want to go ahead and sprinkle some pecans in there, Rachel? And you can chop them fine if you want to, or I've left the pieces a little bit larger. If you would prefer to have the pecans rolled up in the dough and then just to have this plain on top without the pecans, you can certainly do that and reverse it. Again, it's your roll. You can do it any which way you want to. In our particular bakery, we do it this way. We don't put the nuts inside. We put them on top.
Could you use a different kind of nut?
You can do it, yes, you can use absolutely a different kind of nut, not a problem. And then we just want to go ahead and just lightly press the rolls down in there so that they're nestled really nice and tight down in that goo that we call. We could probably get one more in there. Let's see if I can get one of the end pieces here. Got about 5 in there. And so we'll go ahead and put these back in our little proofer box and let them proof until they're double in size. Now we've got these little individual baking cups. So if you want to do individual ones and you want to do some like that, you want to do some without nuts, you want to do some with no icing, and so you want to make a cream cheese frosting to go over it. So all we have to do is stick a couple in there and they're plain, and then we can frost those later. We can get a little tray down there, honey, and see all this nice wonderful paste. We don't want to lose that either, so we're going to put that right back on there and stick those back in there. Yeah, and we'll go ahead and raise those. We'll save this for another time, and so we'll wait until those are doubled in size, which probably will take about 30 minutes. And then we'll come back and we'll turn our oven on at 350, and we'll be able to bake these for about 26 minutes. So we'll see you back shortly. I'm Chef Deborah, this is Rachel, and we are back with our cinnamon buns, and they are jumbo cinnamon buns. Aren't they, Rachel?
They're huge.
They're like
nice buns.
Nice buns. They're bigger than my hand almost. So this is made from our wonderful brioche dough. Like I said earlier, you can make these into just about anything you want to for sweet treats. Or you could actually use them for dinner rolls. They'd be extra sweet dinner rolls, more like a Hawaiian king roll, but you can definitely do that. So what we've got is we've got a glaze or an icing glaze. It's very simple. To do 3 of these buns, we'll probably start with like 3 cups of powdered sugar. and a teaspoon of vanilla, and a tablespoon of light Karo syrup. That's my little secret to get a really shiny glaze on your buns. And so you can drizzle as much as you want. I like to put them on, the icing on when it's a little bit warm so that it kind of melts down into the grooves and swirls of the bun. So while she's doing that, we've got our caramel buns over here, and we're going to flip them out onto this platter. And so you have to do this very delicately because it can be a little tricky. So I'm going to try and, there we go. Yay, we did it. We didn't spill. And then we lift up, and we have all this wonderful, oh, pecan, you're going to get back on there. And it is very, very hot, so you can get yourself burned very easily, so be very careful. This is not a job for kids. But as you can see, this was not a caramel sauce when we started. It was a white glaze sauce, powdered sugar, and heavy whipping cream and vanilla, and that's all that we had, and it caramelized just beautifully like this. And so there's nothing else that you need to do, and there's nothing else that we can say other than, like, this is like total awesomeness, right, Rachel?
For sure.
Total awesomeness. I'm gonna have to get a couple of knives here and separate these. They're still hot. So I want you to see how pillowy soft these buns are. So you can see how tender and absolutely light and delicious they are. These buns, everybody will rave about these buns. I tell you, when I had a restaurant in Black Mountain, and all I had to do was put on the marquee was hot buns, and before the rolls were out of the oven, we were sold out. People were calling because I didn't make them every day. So you will have your friends and your family begging you to make them these rolls. I promise you that will happen. Great Christmas breakfast, brunch, just a special Saturday morning with the family. And that's a wrap. What do you think, Rachel? This is Chef Deborah, and this is my beautiful daughter, Rachel Faye, coming from Greensboro, North Carolina, from Roca's Bakery, saying we thank you for joining us today, learning all about brioche doughs and all the wonderful treats that you can make with this. Please visit us on Facebook and Instagram, and on our website at rocasbakery.com, where you can go to our online store. We ship nationwide. You can also look at our photo gallery and all the beautiful products that we make, and some that, of course, we can't show you all of our photos on the web, but you'll get an idea of the wonderful products that we do make. And keep following us. Until next time, bon appetit.